I'm focused on doing. It's just part of it. You know, there's entertainers and there's competitors. And I totally understand that. And my job is to compete. And that's what I'm focused on doing.
I disagree with you. I think he was taking a shot at Shadur.
You think so?
When have we ever thought about the media, those beat writers as entertainers? We've heard his coach, he was on the team when he said they're celebs.
And he knows what follows Shadur. Look, it can't be easy being in camp with Shadur Sanders, right? But you can't be sitting here trolling your fellow rookie, because that's what it sounded like.
Dylan Gabriel's recent comments about Shadur Sanders didn't just spark a conversation, they set off an explosion across the NFL landscape. What should have been a simple preseason soundbite turned into one of the most divisive and controversial statements of the entire offseason. Instead of acknowledging Shadur as another tough young quarterback in the league, Gabriel chose to throw shade. He labeled Shadur not as a competitor, but as an entertainer. That word hit differently. He basically implied that Shadur is more show than substance, someone who thrives on cameras, hype, and attention. Then Gabriel doubled down, claiming that he is the true competitor, the real one grinding for wins, while Sanders is just out there for personal branding and fame. Those words weren't just dismissive, they were disrespectful. And if Gabriel thought it would go unnoticed, he was dead wrong. What he didn't anticipate was the wave that was about to crash back over him. Analysts, fans, teammates, former players, everybody has something to say, because that comment didn't just critique Sanders' game, it questioned his legitimacy as a football player. And that kind of disrespect doesn't go unchecked for long. Gabriel may have just talked himself into the biggest controversy of his young NFL career.
Because people are going to ask you questions. This is the reason I had to start going to practice.
The moment that interview hit social media, the backlash started. Gabriel's comment opened the floodgates, and suddenly everyone, from fans to former pros, was examining what might really be behind his words. Was it jealousy, insecurity, or something deeper? Instead of focusing on competition, Gabriel now seems to be engaged in a media war, and fans are calling him out. Even analysts like G. Bush stepped forward and issued a warning. If you make bold statements like this, you better be prepared for the consequences. Bush reminded everyone that Gabriel has always been praised for his quick decision-making and elite football IQ. They called him the Skynet quarterback, a guy who reads defenses like a machine. They called him the Terminator because of how precise he is under pressure. But now, he's not battling defensive backs. He's battling Shadur's fan base. He's spending more energy defending himself off the field than making plays on it. Bush made it clear Gabriel needs to focus on football, because right now, he's trying to win a war of words, and that's a battle he's not going to win. The narrative is shifting fast, and it has nothing to do with who can throw a better spiral.
When it comes to being a supercomputer, he was only second to Skynet in the Terminator series. He is now capable of sending Terminators backwards and forward through time, waging a war with the Shadur Sanders fans.
Shannon Sharpe wasted absolutely no time calling it out. He said straight up, Gabriel's words were not taken out of context. They were intentional. He blasted the idea that people are misinterpreting Gabriel's message. According to Sharpe, that was a targeted statement, and people need to stop pretending otherwise. Then Sharpe pulled out the receipts. He reminded everyone about last season when Oregon's head coach publicly disrespected Colorado before their matchup, basically saying Colorado was a show team playing for clicks. Guess who was the QB on that Oregon team? Dylan Gabriel. Sharpe connected the dots, saying it feels like the same energy all over again, and Shadur Sanders is once again in the crosshairs. Sharpe's message was direct. This is becoming a pattern. Gabriel seems to keep popping up in circles where Sanders is being mocked or diminished. And if you're going to talk publicly like that, then stand on it. Own the backlash, because you can't run your mouth and then play victim when people react. Sharpe called it exactly what it was: disrespectful, intentional, and absolutely impossible to walk back.
Are the entertainers and a competitor, and he's a competitor, and he wasn't taking a shot at Shadur, but the damage was done. Everybody knows what he meant by that, because you know why? And I'm gonna let you take off. You remember at Oregon, what the head coach said when they played Colorado?
Right.
Who was the quarterback?
Yeah.
Who was the quarterback?
Okay.
Now, not everyone came down on Gabriel with the same level of intensity. Chad Ochocinco Johnson stepped in with a more balanced take. He wasn't defending Gabriel, but he offered a softer perspective. Ochocinco pointed out that Gabriel is still a young quarterback trying to adjust to the NFL spotlight. He suggested that maybe the comment wasn't meant to be malicious. Maybe Gabriel just worded it poorly and didn't understand how it would sound on camera. Ochocinco's point was simple. It doesn't make sense for a rookie QB trying to earn respect in the league to deliberately create tension with another quarterback, especially one that could end up being a teammate. In his eyes, it was probably a mistake, but not a strategic one. Ochocinco was basically saying give Gabriel room to grow. Maybe he didn't mean it that way. But even with that softer stance, the public wasn't letting it slide. People heard what they heard. And with Shadur already proving himself on the field and Gabriel struggling, that single comment turned into ammunition. Ochocinco might be trying to calm the storm, but the storm is already here.
Well, listen, I don't. Hey, Chad, I don't want to do him like that. I'm gonna give Dylan Gabriel a little grace, a little understanding, because I don't think a college kid coming in as a rookie in the NFL would take that kind of shot at a teammate that he's competing with for a job.
At the end of the day, all the talk means nothing without the performance on the field, and that's where the gap between these two quarterbacks is becoming crystal clear. Shadur Sanders' NFL debut wasn't just solid, it was impressive. He looked calm, composed, and confident from the very first snap. He executed plays with precision, made smart decisions, and showed real leadership even in limited reps. Dylan Gabriel, on the other hand, completely struggled. He failed to get his team into the end zone, couldn't build any momentum, and looked uncomfortable even with the first-team offense helping him. He had 2 drive-killing turnovers that completely shifted the game. No touchdowns, no rhythm, nothing that inspired any confidence. And here's the part that stunned everyone. Instead of showing humility after a rough outing, Gabriel doubled down and took a shot at Sanders, calling him an entertainer. To fans, that attitude was insane. You just played poorly, got carried by the defense, and your response is to talk down about the guy who outperformed you. That moment turned people off completely. Gabriel's timing couldn't have been worse, and now he's not just being questioned as a player, but as a leader.
2 giveaways really were the difference there in that first half, because I thought we were doing some really good things, but then we got that takeaway, had a takeaway negated by an offside, so.
Despite Gabriel's shaky night, the Browns still managed to walk away with a win, but not because of him. The credit went to the defense, plain and simple. The turning point came when KJ Henry made a beautiful read, jumped a route, and took an interception 45 yards to the house. That defensive touchdown flipped the entire energy of the game and helped secure a 22-13 victory over the Eagles. Coach Kevin Stefanski couldn't avoid talking about Gabriel anymore. He admitted in his press conference that Gabriel's 2 turnovers changed the momentum and put the team in a bad spot. For a coach who rarely calls out specific players by name, that was a clear sign that even Stefanski is starting to lose patience. And now, Gabriel's comments about Shadur Sanders are being viewed as one of the worst-timed statements of the preseason. Calling Sanders an entertainer might have sounded bold, but coming right after your own weak performance, that just amplified the backlash. Meanwhile, Sanders showcased efficiency, patience, and maturity, both on and off the field, and analysts like Shannon Sharpe are drawing the same conclusion. This isn't a one-time thing, it's becoming a pattern of disrespect toward a quarterback who's actually proving himself. So now the pressure is on, not on Sanders, but on Gabriel and Stefanski. Because the fans have seen enough, they saw the results on the field, they heard the comments after the game, and they're not going to forget this. So I'll ask you, is Gabriel jealous? Is he intimidated? Or is he just reckless with his words? And at what point will Kevin Stefanski finally listen to what everyone else already knows? Shadur Sanders is ready, and the Browns need to hand him the keys.